All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Waharakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of the great millstone. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect out here told in this truth. And Shalom to the few Akwathim that listen and learn in silence. I say Shalom to you all. I'm the brother Pathaka Moth, Jim as Dallas. I'm just coming back at you with a really quick hit lesson. I'm going to entitle this one, The Prisoners Will Be Salakia, The Prisoners Will Be Released Soon. The prisoners will be released soon. And who are the prisoners, man? The prisoners represent the Israelites, the real, true, biblical Hebrew Israelites. You know, you got some fakes in the land right now claiming to be the people of the Lord, claiming to be the Israelites, but they're calling themselves Israelis, you know, Jewish, you know what I'm saying? Which is not biblical. None of that is biblical. They're not the people of the Lord, and everything about them and about what's going on over there, it proves that, man. You know, scriptures going, you know, the prophecies go into it and disprove these people as being the people of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? So they're not the prisoners, man. You know what I'm saying? And the actual prisoners, which are the so-called self-proclaimed, not Salakia, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negroid descent, and of course the scattered seed that in these times may not come looking like the average Israelite, you know, but instead have taken on the features, the looks of the other nations, man. These heathen nations where we've been scattered, which goes back to Deuteronomy 28 and 64. The Lord said He was going to scatter us, you know, among all these people from one end of the heavens to the other, you know, all four corners of the earth. Jake has been scattered, man, because of not hearkening to the voice of the Lord, man. You know, idol worship, you know, just going off, man. You know what I'm saying? So we got scattered among these nations, man. And of course, Jake assimilates into these captivities, and Jake deals with the women of these nations, man. You know, and gets very comfortable, and you know, of course, by way of those assimilations, they start procreating, dealing with these other nations' women, and offspring, you know, babies are produced, you know, and of course, over dispensation of time, those babies grow up, they get with the women of the heathen nation, and so on and so forth. And over dispensation of time, the seed, the look of the seed is going to change, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and you got a lot of groups out here can't even understand that simple fact, man, you know, because they're not spiritual at the end of the day. You know, but that's just common sense. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But yeah, so the scattered seed as well that have the spirit of an Israelite, man, you know, they're prisoners as well, man, because they have a different spirit than the actual heathen nations, man. They have the same spirit as the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, the you know, those that are known to be the Israelites. And that's why that scripture says in Romans the 8th chapter, the spirit bears witness with our spirits that they are the children of the Most High, man. You know what I'm saying? Which a lot of groups are not taking heed to the scriptures, man. And to that scripture as, you know, one of those are the main scriptures they don't take heed to. But it is what it is. So, and like I said, I don't want to get off on some tangent. You know, we're just going to try to stick to the topic at hand. But again, the prisoners will be released soon. And of course, that releasing of those prisoners is going to bring forth the restoration of the nation of Israel, which if you're in the right mindset and spirit, you should be looking forward to, man. You know what I'm saying? Because these devils, you know, from the time of the transatlantic slave trade, when they bought us over here in actual physical chains, up until today, which we're no longer in those physical chains, but the majority of our people are in those chains are still on their mind, man. You know, and the scriptures speak of in Isaiah 60 and 2, this earth in darkness, these people in gross darkness, which is ignorance, man. You know, so a lot of our people are still in that darkness, man, and they still have those chains on their minds, and they're looking for these devils to save them instead of our power. You know, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You know, of course, the remnant is the key, man. The elect. You know, we've been given the light. You know, like it says again, Isaiah the 60th chapter in verse 1. You know, the light has shone, risen upon, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon thee, roughly paraphrasing. So that the light has shined unto the elect, you know. We're no longer in the darkness, man, you know. Yahweh Shai is that representative of that light, which is this word, this knowledge. And we have that now, and we have the understanding, and we're able to see, because of these scriptures which represent that light, we're able to see our way through this darkness, this dark, wicked place, which represents the lies, deceptions, sin, iniquity, all of the evils, all the things of this place of Babylon, man. There's really this earth, this world we live in. You know what I'm saying? And it's time for new management. But at the end of the day, the prisoners will be released because, again, we're still in captivity. So real quick, this is Isaiah chapter 14. And I'm going to jump down to verse 17. This is Isaiah 14 and 17. And it said, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners. And who is this going into? Well, when you read up in verse 4, it tells you exactly who this is talking about. This Isaiah 14 and 4. It says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? And of course, Babylon, aka America, man. You know what I'm saying? This is America in these times, and the king of Babylon in these times is this devil D Trump, man. You know what I'm saying? DJ Trump, DJT. He's the king of Babylon, man, and everything about what he's doing and how everything is going is showing and proving that very point, man. And he's that oppressor, and you can see with what he's doing, how he's moving. Those blue states that's predominantly Jake, so-called blacks, and he's sending military troops, into these areas, bro. The alligator Alcatraz and everything he's been doing with the Northern Kingdom, yeah, he's that oppressor, man. It's this dude, man. So it says, take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? And that golden city is Babylon, aka America. They've been talking about the golden eras and golden age and all of that, and trying to get that back again, which it's not happening, man. It's over. Esau is the end of the world, and we're at the end of this thing, man. Which the scriptures say, better is the end of a thing than the beginning. So, hey, us as Jacob, we're happy as hell, man. We went through ours. Now it's his turn. So no, there's no going back, there's no getting it back, no retrieving it. It's not happening, man. That's why we're reading what we're reading. How hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? So these things are about to cease, man. You know what I'm saying? We're at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? The beginning, Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. 2 Ezra 6 and 9. So, but the point being, when you drop back down to verse 17, we'll read it again. Isaiah 14 and 17, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed cities. Yeah, these devils did that, man. That same America, man. It says that opened not the house of the prisoners. So yeah, we're prisoners here. Micah 2 and 10. This is not our rest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but a sore destruction. This was bitterness for us, man. We were sent over here on cargo slave ships, man. We were bought here as a punishment, a prison sentence, man. Nothing good, man. You know what I'm saying? So we're those prisoners, man, because we're still in these devil's hands. But real quick, let's get Jeremiah the 50th chapter, and we're going to drop down to verse 33, because the scriptures break it all down, man. The Bible is a beautiful book, man. But to have proper understanding of it is the whole key, man. That's man, it's a beauty. And it's not given to everything. It's given unto you, but unto them it's not given. So everybody don't have this, man. So you're blessed if you do. If you have that understanding, you're blessed. With the water, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, for this understanding, for bringing us out of darkness into this marvelous light, like the scriptures say. This is Jeremiah 50 and 33, and it reads, thus saith Yahweh Shem Yahushua of armies, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. Where would that happen? Right here in America. The majority of the nation of Israel is right here in the Americas, man, in aka Babylon. Babylon the Great, man. You know what I'm saying? So it says the children of Israel and the children of Judah. That's the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, man. It said they were oppressed together. Yeah, that's right here in America. And they're being oppressed to this very day, man. It says, and all that took them captives, again, we were bought over here of course, us of the Northern Kingdom, we were already here, but you know what I'm saying? And they shipped like a majority of us to other places, and, and then brought the Southern Kingdom to the Americas. But the point is, we're captives here. It says, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. There it is, bro. So we're captives here, man. And these devils refuse to let us go. Try to go somewhere. Try to leave and see what's going. You're going to have certain places. You're going to have a passport to go to. And then you're only going to be able to be gone so long. There's a time you're going to have to bring your ass back here, man. So yeah, man, we're captives. That's a captive, man. And they held us fast and refused to let us go, man. You know what I'm saying? But what does the scripture say about, taking a man, stealing a man, man? So let's get that real quick. It's Exodus 21, the book of Exodus 21 and verse 16. And it reads, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Did you hear that? That's in the law, man. That's a law. And this dude stole us, you know what I'm saying, from the western shores of Africa, and brought us to the Americas and pretty much, shipped us and spread us throughout the, which was all prophecy, man. At the end of the day, it was the Lord for punishing us for going off. But, these devils are at the forefront of that, man. They're behind this thing, man. So we're in their hands. We're still captives. We're still in their hands. And it says it shall surely be put to death. So that's what's coming to them, man. The Lord is going to return soon. He's going to destroy these devils, man. And if it wasn't for the remnant that's returning in these times, our nation would be through, man. Because Jake ain't looking, man. Jake just want to, be comfortable and chill and get along, man. Jake don't want no problems, And the remnant returning represents the beginning of those prisoners being released, and again the restoration of the nation of Israel, man. The remnant returning, man, they're very important, and of course right now we're in the midst of the Day of Atonement. You can read about that in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, I believe around verse 26. We're in that as we speak, and those predetermined spirits that were chosen before the foundation of the world, pursuant to Ephesians, the 1st chapter, are keeping this high holy day, man, right now as we speak, rehearsing the righteous acts, Judges 5 and 11, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to be taken lightly, man, and, again, these are the things that's the beginning of the prisoners being released and the restoration that's forth to come. Because again, our nation is not looking to be restored. As a matter of fact, let's get that real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 22. Isaiah 44 and 22, and it reads, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes. A snare is a trap. And those holes represent those prisons, cells that they're in, man. As a matter of fact, let's keep going. It says, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore, man. There it is, man. Jake ain't looking to be restored. But what did our forefathers, what spirit was our forefathers in, man? They were in the total opposite spirit. Let's get that real quick in Acts. This is Acts, the 1st chapter, and verse 6, and it reads, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, who? The disciples/apostles. They asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? So they were looking for that restoration, man. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, let's read that in the NLT. Let's see what that says in the NLT. Just parallel this real quick. And we're going to read it in to the right of the screen. In the NLT, it's Acts 1 and 6 in the NLT. It says, so when the apostles were with Yahushua, they kept asking him, Lord, has the time come for you to free Israel? Why? Because we're captives, man. That's the title of the lesson. The prisoners will be released soon. And of course, that restoration of the Israelites will begin. But it says, Acts 1 and 6. So when the apostles were with Yahushua, they kept asking him, Lord, has the time come for you to free Israel and restore our kingdom? That's the restoring the kingdom of heaven, man. The rulership of the planet Earth, man, and ruling everything in it. You know what I'm saying? And really, it's gonna go further than that. It's gonna go into the further reaches of the universe, man. You know, but that restoring, man, that restoration, the kingdom, man. We just read where in Isaiah 42, where none saith restored. The majority of our people, they're not looking for that. They're not looking for the kingdom. Most of our people don't even understand what the kingdom of heaven even represents, man. You know, they think it's dying and going into the heavens and with the Lord and just floating around in the clouds as a spirit, man. No, that's not the kingdom of heaven. That's a realm of heaven, but that's not the kingdom of heaven, man. The kingdom of heaven is going to be right here on planet Earth, man. And it's even in the Lord's Prayer in Matthew the 6th chapter, verse 10. You know, thy kingdom come. That's talking about the kingdom of heaven. Thy will be done. Whose will? The Most High will. The Most High's will, Yahweh's. Because that's not happening in these times, which again proves or disproves these people in the land today, man. It proves that they're not the people, man. So thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, man. You know what I'm saying? So the will of the Lord will be done on the earth in the kingdom, man. Proving the kingdom of heaven will be here on earth. That's right there in the Lord's Prayer, man. And you got these dumb Christians that'll claim to believe in the New Testament, and these scriptures have never come to mind. You know, you ain't never questioned, well, what is this talking about? You idiots. Yeah, it's not you. There is no place in the center of the earth that you're going to burn for eternity. That's a facade. That's a Hollywood facade. You know, that's just something that they came up with on a plantation to make your ass obey and do what your slave master wanted you to do, man. You know, and of course, the kingdom of heaven. There's three realms of heaven. There's the heaven on earth with the kingdom. You know, when you look up to your sky, you see where the birds and fly and the planes fly, where it represents heaven. You know, exaltation in the earth, being above everything, ruling, running shit. And then you have the next realm of heaven, which is your second heaven, right outside of the firmament or the ozone layer in these times, which is the firmament in the Bible, which we call space, outer space, you know, where these devils have their space stations and satellites. And then you have in the further reaches in the fourth dimension, further out, where the Most High Yahweh and Yahushua and the spirits are dwelling in these times, you know, which is your third heaven, man. You know, that's what Paul spoke about, you know, and things he couldn't utter. And then you have that it's also written in the Psalms, man. You know, there's three realms of heaven, man, which the average Christian has no idea of, man. You know, because they don't know the book. They don't know the Bible. The Lord ain't dealing with them, man. You know what I'm saying? But again, that restoring, let me read it one more time, Acts 1 and 6. It says, so when the apostles were with Yahushua, they kept asking him, Lord, has the time come for you to free Israel and restore our kingdom? Because they thought it was during that time, which it wasn't, man. You know, there's still more prophecies had to play out. You know, the elect wasn't sealed. There's things that had to happen, you know. But the point is, this is what our forefathers knew. They were in the right spirit. They knew what it was, man. Today, Jake is so far gone. That's why in Ezekiel 37, Ezekiel was like, can these bones live? You know, thou knowest, you know, because, yeah, Jake is so far gone in these times. It's just ridiculous, man, you know. But the point is that restoration, it's going to come by way of those prisoners being released, which the prisoners, again, represent the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negro descent and the scattered seed, man, you know. So we're close, man. That restoration is on the way. So real quick, let's get one more. Let's get this in Isaiah 61, because it's going into, as a matter of fact, let me take the parallel off real quick. I'm probably going to bring it back because I think that's one I wanted to read in the NLT. But we'll read it in the KJV first. It's Isaiah chapter 61 and verse 1 and 2. And it reads, Isaiah 61, verse 1. It says, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai power is upon me, because Yahweh Shem Yahushai hath anointed me to preach good tidings, you know, that good news unto the meek. Who are the meek? The Israelites, man. Those on the bottom of this society. Matthew 5 and 5, the meek shall inherit the earth, man. which proves the earth is where the kingdom of heaven is going to be. You know what I'm saying? When are they going to inherit the earth if everybody is going to die and some going into the center of the earth and burn, and then others are going into float around in the clouds, man? So when is the meek going to inherit the earth, man? You know, because that's what's promised in Matthew, the 5th chapter, verse 5, you know, and that's what we're reading here, bringing those good tidings unto the meek. It says, who hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, the Israelites, begin and start with the elect of them, to proclaim liberty, that freedom, man, you know, to the captives. Again, we're captives in this place. And the opening of the prison to them that are bound. So the prison is about to be opened and the prisoners will be released soon. Yeah, that restoration is close, man. Verse 2, it says to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh Shem Shai and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn. And that's going again into the Israelites, beginning starting with the elect. Now, overall, the whole nation is going to be avenged. But, you know, in these times, 2/3 got to be put to death right along with everything else. Esau and these heathen, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they've attached themselves to this place, to this system, this beast system, and they believe in it and they trust in it, and they're going to have to die with it, man. The sinking Titanic, they're going to go down with it, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, to proclaim that acceptable year, you know, and the day of vengeance of our power, man, you know. So, which I want to, real quick, I'm going to jump over to 63 because it lines up perfectly with that. And then we're going to jump back to 61, and I want to read in NLT. This is Isaiah 63 and verse 4. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. This is hey, we're in that time. That's now, man. You know, that the prisoner's being released, man. The vengeance is in the heart of our big brother Yahushua. He's tired of seeing his little brothers and sisters get put to death and all these terrible things. And of course, like I said, 2/3 they got one more death they got to pay, you know, for putting our Lord and Savior on the cross. You know, they chose Barabbas, you know, crucify him. You know, they chose free Barabbas and crucify him. So they got to pay one final time in these times for that. And then after that, their debt will be paid, and they're going to, of course, the kingdom of heaven will be established, and they're going to be good as well, man. You know, they're going to be reborn back into the kingdom through the elect at the remnant, you know, and they're going to be born in righteousness, man. You know, the law, statutes, and commandments in their inward parts. They'll have spiritual powers. They'll have slaves, and it's going to be beautiful, man. Our whole nation is going to be beautified, man. You know, it's going to be a yapah thing. So, but that vengeance, man, the year of the redeemed, you know, all these things are coming to our enemies, you know, when the prisoners are released, and then again, the restoration of the nation of Israel will begin. So I want to go back. I'm going to get, let me parallel, and then we're going to go back to, 61, Isaiah 61. And we're going to read verse Salakia. Look at Satan. Isaiah 61. And we're going to read verse 1 and 2 to the right of the screen in the NLT. It says, good news for the oppressed. Yeah, exactly. The oppressed. That's the nation of Israel. The meek, man. Us on the bottom of the society, man. You know, no one has had any respect until now. They're starting to gain a different respect, a different outlook on things, along with the prophets, the men of the Lord being out here teaching forever and a day, you know, for the last, you know, so many decades, you know, and then now you got Chat GPT and AI confirming and backing everything that the prophets have been saying, man. So everybody is starting to have a different outlook now, you know, where so-called blacks and Latinos and the Native Americans are concerned, man, you know, because now these people are starting to see it. Who the true people are. As a matter of fact, before I read this, let me get this real quick in what is that in? I'm trying to remember where it is. Salakia, bear with me for a sec. I believe it's Hosea, the 1st chapter, and verse 10. Yeah, Khan. Isaiah 1 and verse 10, it reads, I'm going to read in the KJV. It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. because we've been scattered, man. And of course, the seed, is everywhere, man, throughout the four corners, man. So they can't be measured or numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, which is right here in America, aka Babylon the Great, it says, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. And that's, again, the prophets have been out here now, along with Chat GPT and AI, the AI overview and all it, Hey, bro, people are starting to have a different outlook. Let's see what it says in the NLT. Hosea 1:10 in the NLT, it says, yet the time will come when Israel's people will be like the sands of the seashore, too many to count. Then at the place where they were told, you are not my people, it will be said, you are the children of the living power. And exactly, and that's what's up. So real quick, let's go back to Isaiah 61. And we're going to read verse 1 and 2 to the right of screen in NLT. Is in the heading, you see it, good news for the oppressed, and we're the oppressed, man. It says, the Spirit of the sovereign Lord is upon me, for the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and to proclaim that captives will be released and prisoners will be freed. Exactly. That's what's coming, man. The prisoners will be released. Restoration time, man. Verse 2, it says, he has sent me to tell those who mourn that the time of the Lord's favor has come. Yeah, that vengeance is coming. He's going to show a favor to his people. Now remind me of one more. I want to get one more before I close out. And with it, the day of God's, the Most High's anger against their enemies, which is all 17 other nations, but primarily these Edomites, man. And real quick, that favor is coming, man. What is that? Isaiah 54. And I'm going to read 7 and 8 because it's going to go into it all. This is Isaiah 54:7. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. Yeah, the Lord turned his back on us for a minute there and let these devils have their way with us, But now we're in a time of those great mercies. Verse 8, in a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, which that moment seemed like a long time. 500 plus years is a long time in the flesh. But hey, time is different, with us and the Lord. A day to the Lord is as 1,000 years to us, and 1,000 years is a day. You know what I'm saying? So it says, but in verse 8, Isaiah 54:8, in a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee. There that mercy is, said Yahweh Shema Shaddai, Redeemer. And those great mercies are on the way, man. So, hey, we're in the time of the prisoners being released and restoration to Israel being in full effect. So with that, hopefully this was edifying to the hopeful elect, giving all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Waharakak. Double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of the great millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect, the house of David, the Bayath Shah Dawadah Shalom.